Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you are brand new. I am so happy to have you here. Today's Monday video is going to be transplanting tomatoes. As you can see, I cluster start my tomatoes. I have Sun Golds and I have Two Tasty, all of which we started on camera a few weeks ago. It's probably been close to 6 weeks ago. These should have already been transplanted and they would have grown so much better, but alas, here we are. Life took a different hold, and they're still fine. Tomatoes will bounce back, and I can bury these a little bit deeper, get more established roots, and then transplant them. I mean, my garden's not even ready to be done yet. I'm getting soil, hopefully this weekend. Fingers crossed. But what I do is I already have my cups filled. These are just old cups that a neighbor was giving away that I decided I was going to use. And by giving away, I mean they put them at the end of their driveway, said free, and then I went up and asked. I was just like, can I take all of them? So I walked all of them home in a thunderstorm. Interesting story, but the Sun Golds look really good. The Two Tasty could look a little bit better. If I only get 2 plants out of these, I'm not 100% upset with it, because I can do some other things to get more plants, especially because these were started early like this. What I'm going to do, especially with the Two Tasty, I'm going to just squeeze the cup. I hate disturbing roots, I hate transplanting, but it has to be done, especially because of how these guys are looking. So what I'll do is I will turn it upside down. Whole block comes out, and then I got the cups over here, and I can't move you guys because of what I set you guys up on, and I hate it. But what I'm going to do is just look for ones that have an established root. This one will live, it's just on the smaller side. So I should get 5 Two Tasty plants from this, which I love Two Tasty, they're my favorite ones. And then some of these Sun Golds I'm going to be giving away because Sun Golds are so good. I believe that you should be sharing the gardening love. Okay, so you see how with how small this one is, I'm going to do this even with the bigger ones. Pinch off these lower leaves, which those were not even they were just like the first leaves so they could start photosynthesizing. And I'll show you guys on a different plant because it's going to be a little bit easier to see. But if you look on here, you see all of these little hairs. There it is, it zoomed in. All of these little hairs on the stem of the tomato, those can all turn into roots. So if the plant were to lay down on the ground, wherever it came in contact with the ground would start growing roots. Tomatoes are incredibly hardy in that regard, so with these little bits of roots here, I can plant it here and it will grow even more roots. So that is what I'm going to do, and that's how I transplant my tomatoes every time. A, to get them deeper into the ground, closer to water, but B, to get them just to encourage more root growth, because root growth is very important. I'm debating on adding more soil to this cup, and I think I am. There's gonna be dirt everywhere, but what I'm doing is just adding more soil, poking a hole with my finger, and I can show you guys. Give me a second. And I'm just gonna repeat this process the whole time. Poke the hole, and then covering around, burying it deeper. That's gonna encourage a good root system. And then what I'm gonna do is bottom water these. The reason I'm going to bottom water is, sorry, I had to get you guys back up. The reason I'm going to bottom water is because it's going to encourage those root systems to go down even further. So there's just a multitude of reasons why to bottom water. These guys are still inside. They need to start coming outside because I need to start hardening them off. But that's going to be after they are established in these cups. Because this is going to take a lot out of them. There are going to be days that I'm going to freak out because they need to be alive, and yeah, I'm going to freak out a little bit, which is okay. I always do. I'm a helicopter plant dad. I've said this before, and I'm okay with that fact. This is another smaller one. I'm just pinching off those leaves. Probably could have lasted a little bit longer, but I need them all transplanted, and since I'm doing one, I kind of have to do all of them. So just gonna bury that. like this, and then immediately once I go inside, I'm going to get these guys in some bottom water. Try to keep them out of the light as much as possible, because you don't want them to be in direct sunlight right now, or they can easily dry out. And when I transplant them, I'm just going to end up taking, like how I did with this, dumping the cup into my hand and planting the whole thing. That's going to encourage not be as much as a transplant shot, but it's also just going to help in the transplant process. And before I finish with all of these, they're going to look horrible, like these first ones. One like this, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some of the soil out of the cup and plant this whole thing deeper, probably up to here, and that's just going to encourage more of a root system, and yeah, ultimately just give it more of what you want, some oomph, if you will. So I'm just going to push that in. This one will have barely any transplant shock, just because it's getting planted. The roots are not being disturbed as much. The other ones are going to go through a little bit of that, which is okay. Just because transplanting, especially when you're starting early, is very important. And how I sow the seeds is cluster starting them like this, just saving room in the beginning weeks before I can move things outside to be just some outside plants. I got room inside, but not that much room. This one, what I'm going to do is try to separate it in the middle, and that was actually a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. Same principle as before, just bury that whole thing farther down. So with this logic in mind of keeping soil, which is what you should try to do if at all possible, I'm going to have 3 that are going to look very, very healthy, and 2 that are going to be very bad. But that's okay. That is the nature of plants, and I'm not upset about it. As much as I wish they would not look like that, we'll be okay. So, I'm just going to cover that soil, and I wish I could show you guys. I do not know where my tripod is. I lost it. So you guys just get Zach talking today. This is the last of the Sun Golds, and then I'm going to do these 2 tasties by myself. These are the last of the 2 tasties. I'm going to do the Sun Golds by myself. I don't know if that's what I just said or not, but, you know. So this one, I'm just going to bury up to these leaves and let everything else become roots. This one, I'm basically planting in the bottom of the cup. So if you can cluster sow them a little farther apart, I would recommend. Just for simplicity's sake of getting everything good and established. So you guys have a good one, and I'll film another video later. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.